Welcome to the sleep route. If you are ready to fall asleep, please fasten your seatbelts and let's start our story. The first whisper of dawn began to unfurl across the ancient city of Rome, a pale, hesitant light seeping through the high, narrow window of the courtesan's bedchamber, painting faint, shifting patterns upon the cool, polished marble floor. And though the city outside still slumbered in a deep communal hush, broken only by the distant, rhythmic clang of a blacksmith's early hammer or the soft, muffled coo of a dove awakening on a nearby rooftop. Within the quiet confines of her room, a different kind of awakening was gently stirring, a slow, deliberate unfurling of the senses from the silken embrace of sleep. A quiet preparation for the day that would soon unfurl with its own intricate tapestry of sounds and sensations. A day that, for a woman of her profession, began long before the bustling clamor of the forum or the vibrant chatter of the markets, commencing instead with a ritualistic slowness. A deliberate sequence of movements designed to coax the body and mind into a state of serene readiness. As the very air in the room, cool and still from the night, held the lingering scent of dried lavender and the faint, sweet perfume of jasmine that had drifted in from the courtyard garden, delicate fragrance that now mingled with the subtle, earthy aroma of beeswax from the polished wooden chest at the foot of her bed, where her sleeping garments lay folded with meticulous care, their fine linen soft against her skin, even in memory, a tactile comfort that lingered as she slowly, almost imperceptibly, shifted beneath the heavy embroidered covers, the faint rustle of the fabric, a barely audible sigh, and the profound quietude of the pre-dawn hours. A sound that seemed to echo the gentle stirring of her own consciousness, rising like mist from a tranquil lake, unhurried and unburdened, as the first sliver of sunlight, now a little brighter, caught the delicate silver filigree of a small, intricately carved oil lamp resting on a bedside table, causing it to glimmer with a soft, ethereal glow. Though its wick remained unlit, its purpose for the deeper shadows of night having passed, and the air, still cool, carried the faintest suggestion of dew from the garden. A crisp, clean note that promised the freshness of the nascent day, a day that would unfold with its own measured pace, its hours marked not by urgency, but by a series of deliberate, almost meditative actions, each one a thread in the elaborate fabric of her forgotten routine. A routine that began with the simple act of breathing, deep and slow, drawing in the cool, clean air, and releasing it with a quiet sigh, a practice that centered her, grounding her in the present moment before the demands of the world outside began their gentle, insistent pull in the silence. So profound in these early hours, was occasionally punctuated by the soft, almost imperceptible creak of the ancient wooden beams in the ceiling, a sound like the quiet settling of an old house, a comforting presence that spoke of enduring time, of centuries of quiet mornings unfolding within these very walls, and the textures around her, even in the dim light, were palpable. The smooth coolness of the marble, the soft give of the wool beneath her, the crisp edge of the linen sheet, each a gentle reminder of her physical surroundings, anchoring her to the quiet reality of her bedchamber, a sanctuary where the world's clamor had yet to intrude, where the only motion was the slow, steady rise and fall of her own chest. A rhythm as ancient and comforting as the turning of the earth, a prelude to the slow, deliberate movements that would soon begin. Each one a step deeper into the waking world, yet still steeped in the tranquility of the fading night. a tranquility that felt like a warm, enveloping cloak, gently preparing her for the delicate dance of her day. The cool, smooth touch of the marble floor beneath her bare feet was the next deliberate sensation, a grounding chill that spread slowly upward, chasing away the last lingering tendrils of sleep as she rose from the bed. Her movements unhurried and graceful, a silent, almost ritualistic progression towards the small, private bathing chamber adjacent to her sleeping quarters, where the air was already infused with a faint, invigorating scent of rosewater and the earthy aroma of finely ground pumice, carefully prepared by her attendants. Before the first light had fully broken and the sound of water, a soft, continuous trickle from a small, ornate bronze spout into a shallow, carved basin filled the quiet space with a soothing, rhythmic murmur, a gentle melody that invited contemplation, a prelude to the cleansing that was about to unfold as she reached for the rough, woven linen cloth draped over a wooden rail, its texture coarse yet comforting against her fingertips, a stark contrast to the silken softness of her sleeping shift. And the water, drawn from a cool underground spring, felt exquisitely refreshing as she cupped it in her hands. Splashing it gently onto her face, the droplets cool and invigorating against her skin. Awakening the senses with a subtle shock, a quiet jolt that cleared the mind and sharpened perception, and the soft, repetitive motion of washing, tracing the contours of her face and neck with slow, deliberate strokes, became a meditative act. Each movement a release of the night's slumber, a quiet shedding of dreams, preparing her for the conscious engagement with the world. As the light in the bathing chamber, filtered through a small, high window, was still dim, casting long, shifting shadows that danced with the steam rising faintly from the basin, creating an ethereal, almost dreamlike atmosphere, where the only sounds were the gentle lapping of water, the soft rub of the linen, and her own quiet, steady breathing, a rhythmic symphony of tranquility. And the textures of the room were varied and ancient. The cool, smooth stone of the walls, worn smooth by countless hands over centuries. The rough, unyielding feel of the pumice stone as she gently exfoliated her skin. Its fine grit, a subtle abrasion that left her skin feeling renewed and alive, the smooth, cool surface of the bronze mirror, reflecting a soft, indistinct image in the low light, a fleeting glimpse of a form emerging from the shadows and the slow, measured pace of her movements, each one precise and unhurried, spoke of a deep respect for the body, a reverence for the self that transcended the demands of her profession, turning a simple act of hygiene into a profound moment of self-care. A quiet communion with her own being before the day's obligations began to assert their presence, and the air, now subtly perfumed with the delicate essence of roses, felt lighter, cleaner, a gentle caress against her freshly washed skin, and the faint, almost imperceptible scent of the damp earth from the garden outside seemed to drift in through the open window, mingling with the floral notes, grounding the ethereal with the natural, creating a harmonious blend of aromas that soothed the spirit, preparing it for the subtle complexities of the day and the quiet gurgle of the water as it drained from the basin. A soft, sighing sound marked the completion of this segment of her routine, a gentle transition from the cleansing of the body to the adornment of the self, a silent promise of the beauty that would soon begin to unfold, a beauty not merely for others, but for the quiet satisfaction of her own meticulous preparation, forgotten routine woven into the very fabric of ancient time. With the body cleansed and the spirit gently awakened, the next phase of her forgotten routine began, a delicate ballet of scent and touch. As she moved from the bathing chamber into a smaller adjoining room, specifically designed for the intricate art of anointing, where shelves of small, stoppered ambery and alabaster jars lined the cool, stone walls, each containing a precious oil or fragrant unguent, their subtle, layered aromas now beginning to fill the air, mingling with the lingering freshness of rosewater, creating a rich, complex tapestry of scent that was both intoxicating and deeply calming. And the light in this chamber, though still soft, was a little brighter. Filtered through a translucent alabaster panel set high in the wall, casting a diffused milky glow that softened every edge, making the room feel like a sanctuary of quiet beauty, and the sounds were minimal, almost imperceptible. The soft click of a stopper being removed from a glass vial, the gentle swirl of oil within a jar, the faint rustle of her linen shift as she moved with deliberate grace, each sound a tiny punctuation mark in the profound silence, emphasizing the meticulous care of her actions, and her fingers, long and slender, moved with an almost intuitive knowledge, selecting first a small dark glass bottle of pure olive oil infused with the essence of myrrh, its scent deep and earthy, a grounding aroma that spoke of ancient rituals and sacred groves. And she poured a small, measured amount into the palm of her hand, the oil cool and viscous against her skin, then slowly, with a tender, circular motion, began to massage it into her arms, her shoulders, her neck, the warmth of her skin gradually absorbing the rich liquid, leaving behind a subtle sheen and the lingering, comforting fragrance of the myrrh, a scent that seemed to sink deep into her very being, calming the nerves and soothing the spirit, and the repetitive motion of the massage. A slow, continuous circling became a hypnotic rhythm, a gentle lullaby for the senses, drawing her deeper into a state of profound relaxation, where the external world faded into a soft, indistinct hum, and only the sensation of touch and the unfolding of scent remained. A private world of exquisite sensation, and next she reached for a smaller, exquisitely crafted alabaster jar, its surface smooth and cool beneath her touch, containing a thick, fragrant unguent of spikenard, a more delicate floral aroma with a hint of spice. And she applied this to her pulse points, the insides of her wrists, behind her ears, the hollow of her throat. Each dab, a precise, deliberate act, releasing a burst of fragrance that would subtly unfurl throughout the day. A personal signature of scent that would accompany her like a gentle, invisible aura. And the air, now heavy with the combined fragrances, felt thick and luxurious, a fragrant cloud that enveloped her, a protective veil against the harsher realities of the world. And the textures of the various containers were as varied as their contents. The smooth, cool glass, the rough, porous alabaster, the polished wood of the small, intricately carved combs that lay nearby, waiting for the next stage of her routine, each object a testament to the artistry and care invested in these daily rituals. And the light continued to soften, diffusing even further as the sun climbed higher, transforming the chamber into a haven of gentle light and intoxicating aroma, a place where time seemed to slow, where every movement was imbued with purpose and grace, a quiet preparation for the intricate dance of her day. a forgotten routine that whispered of ancient beauty and serene self-possession. Each anointing a silent prayer for grace, a quiet invocation of inner tranquility, a deep breath of fragrant air, a moment suspended in the timeless flow of morning. With her skin fragrant and her spirit calm, the courtesan turned her attention to the meticulous art of her hair, a process that was as much a meditation as it was an act of adornment, as she settled onto a low, cushioned stool before a large, polished bronze mirror, its surface reflecting the soft, diffused light of the chamber with a warm form. Golden glow illuminating her face with a gentle radiance. And the sounds in this space were now even more subdued, limited to the soft, rhythmic whisper of the fine-toothed comb passing through her long, dark hair, a gentle rustle like dry leaves in a soft breeze, and the occasional faint clink of a silver hairpin as it was selected from a small, velvet-lined box, each sound a quiet punctuation in the profound stillness, emphasizing the delicate precision of her movements. And her fingers, nimble and practiced, began the slow, deliberate process of untangling and smoothing each strand, drawing the comb through the lengths with a gentle, continuous motion, repetitive action that was deeply soothing, almost hypnotic, as if she were weaving not just her hair, but the very threads of her thoughts into a coherent, tranquil pattern. And the air around her was still rich with the layered scents of myrrh and spikenard, now subtly warmed by the rising temperature of the room, their mingled fragrances creating an intimate, personal aura that enveloped her. A private world of sensory delight, and the textures of her hair, soft and fine, felt cool against her fingertips as she worked each strand, a delicate filament to be coaxed, and shaped a living tapestry that would frame her face, and the polished bronze of the mirror, cool and solid beneath her gaze, offered a reflection that was not merely an image, but a silent companion. Witnessing the quiet unfolding of her morning ritual, a reflection that seemed to hold the echoes of countless other mornings, other women performing the same timeless acts of self-care within these ancient walls. And as she continued to comb, her gaze remained steady, yet unfocused, lost in the rhythmic motion, her mind drifting gently, unburdened by the demands of the day that lay ahead, allowing thoughts to rise and fall like gentle waves, ungraspable and fleeting, contributing to the profound sense of calm that permeated the space. And then, with the hair thoroughly smoothed, began the intricate process of braiding, her fingers moving with practiced ease, weaving 3 strands together, then 4, then 5, creating a complex, elegant plait that would be coiled and pinned at the back of her head, or perhaps adorned with delicate pearls or gold ribbons. Depending on the day's engagements, each twist, in turn of the braid, a deliberate act of creation, a slow, unfolding artistry, and the pins, made of polished bone or gleaming silver, were inserted with a soft, almost imperceptible click, securing the intricate coiffure, each one a tiny anchor in the flowing cascade of her hair, and the light, now fully present, though still diffused, illuminated the subtle sheen of her dark hair, highlighting the intricate patterns of the braids, a silent testament to the care and precision of her work. And the entire process, from the first stroke of the comb to the final securing of the pins, was a slow, deliberate dance of hands and hair, a quiet moment of self-sculpture, transforming the raw material into a work of art, a forgotten routine that spoke volumes of the quiet dignity and meticulous attention to detail that characterized her life as serene prelude to the public face. She would soon present a face framed by the quiet artistry of her own hands, a gentle sigh of contentment escaping her lips as the final pin found its place. Completing the quiet symphony of her morning's preparation, a profound sense of peace settling over her as she gazed at her reflection, ready for the next gentle unfolding of her day. As the morning light deepened, casting longer, more defined shadows across the mosaic floor, the courtesan moved towards the large cedar wardrobe, its ancient wood exuding a faint, comforting aroma, a scent that mingled subtly with the lingering perfumes of her skin and hair, creating a unique personal atmosphere within the chamber. The sounds now began to shift, becoming slightly more pronounced, yet still gentle. The soft creak of the wardrobe door as it swung open, revealing a carefully curated collection of garments, each on a whisper of silk or the gentle rustle of fine linen, and the air, though still cool, held the promise of the day's warmth. A gentle invitation to choose attire that would flow and breathe with the subtle currents of the Roman air, and her hand with a deliberate slowness reached for a peplus of undyed linen, its natural fibers soft and cool to the touch, a garment chosen for its simplicity and comfort during the early hours, before the more elaborate demands of the evening. And as she drew it from its hanger, the fabric unfolded with a soft sighing sound, a gentle cascade of material that seemed to float in the air, catching the diffused light and shimmering with a delicate luminescence. And the process of dressing was not a hurried affair, but a deliberate, almost meditative sequence of movements. Each fold and drape of the fabric a conscious interaction with the material. As she slipped the peplus over her head, the cool linen falling softly against her skin, a comforting embrace that settled around her form with a gentle grace. And the broad, simple folds of the garment seemed to absorb the light, creating subtle variations in tone and shadow, emphasizing the natural contours of her body without revealing them. A quiet elegance that spoke of understated beauty in the textures of the linen, slightly coarse yet inherently soft, felt grounding against her skin, a connection to the natural world, a reminder of the simple, honest beauty of raw materials. And she then reached for a pair of delicate fibula, crafted from polished bronze their surfaces, gleaming dully in the soft light, and with slow, precise movements, she fastened the linen at her shoulders, the small metallic click of the pins, a quiet punctuation in the stillness, securing the garment with a gentle firmness, allowing the fabric to drape, freely creating a silhouette that was both modest and graceful, and the light now fully present, though still filtered, seemed to cling to the linen, enhancing its natural luminosity, making her appear as though she were dressed in light itself, a soft ethereal presence within the ancient room. And the only other sound was the gentle rustle of the fabric as she moved, a soft, continuous whisper that accompanied her every step, a constant, soothing presence in the slow, repetitive motion of adjusting the folds. Ensuring the drape was just so became a final act of preparation, a quiet perfection of her outward form, a forgotten routine that transformed the simple act of dressing into a moment of serene contemplation, a quiet acknowledgement of the day's unfolding, a gentle breath of anticipation for the hours ahead, a silent promise of elegance and poise. With her attire settled into soft, flowing lines, the courtesan moved from her bedchamber into a small, sun-drenched atrium where the air was now warmer, carrying the faint, sweet scent of blooming oleander from the central courtyard garden. And the sounds here were subtly different, a gentle symphony of awakening. The soft chirping of sparrows from the terracotta roof tiles, the distant, muffled murmur of voices from the street outside, and the gentle, rhythmic drip of water from a small, ornate fountain in the center of the atrium, its continuous splash a soothing, hypnotic melody that filled the space with a sense of tranquil vitality. And a low, polished wooden table, adorned with a simple clay bowl and a small, sturdy cup, awaited her, prepared by her quiet attendants, who moved with an almost ethereal silence, their footsteps barely disturbing the air, and she settled onto a cushioned bench, the soft give of the fabric. A gentle invitation to rest, and the morning repast was a simple, yet deeply satisfying affair, a deliberate choice for nourishment that was both light and sustaining, a quiet communion with the simple abundance of the earth. And within it lay a handful of plump, sun-dried figs, their sweetness, a gentle burst of flavor against her palate, and a small cluster of ripe, purple grapes, their skins cool and smooth, each one bursting with a delicate, refreshing juice that cleansed the mouth and awakened the senses with a subtle, natural sweetness. And beside the bowl, a small, dark loaf of unleavened bread, its crust firm and its interior soft, offered a comforting, earthy aroma, a simple sustenance that grounded her, preparing her body for the day's gentle exertions. And the cup, made of dark, unglazed pottery, held cool, clear water, drawn from the same spring that had refreshed her during her ablutions, its taste pure and invigorating, a vital elixir that hydrated and revitalized. In the slow, deliberate motion of eating, savoring each fig, each grape, each bite of bread, became a meditative act, a quiet appreciation for the simple gifts of nature, a moment of profound gratitude that transcended the mundane, transforming a meal into a sacred ritual, and the light in the atrium, now brighter and more direct, streamed through the open roof, illuminating the vibrant green of the plants, the delicate petals of the oleander, and the shimmering surface of the fountain's water, creating a tableau of serene beauty, a quiet oasis of calm in the heart of the bustling city. And the only sounds were the gentle chewing, the soft clink of the cup against the table as she set it down, and the continuous soothing murmur of the fountain, a symphony of quiet contentment. And the textures of the food were varied and delightful. The soft, yielding flesh of the figs, the smooth, taut skin of the grapes, the firm crust and soft interior of the bread, each a distinct sensation that engaged the palate and brought a quiet satisfaction, a forgotten routine that nourished not just the body, but the spirit, preparing her for the quiet unfolding of her day. A gentle breath of morning air, a silent promise of strength and serenity. With the morning repast complete, a quiet sense of contentment settled over her, and the courtesan rose from the bench, her movements still unhurried, a gentle transition from nourishment to contemplation. As she stepped from the sun-drenched atrium into the cooler, shaded pathways of her private courtyard garden, where the air was now richly fragrant with the scent of blooming roses and the earthy aroma of damp soil, a living tapestry of natural perfumes that enveloped her, and the sounds here were a delicate symphony of nature, the soft, continuous hum of bees flitting among the blossoms, The gentle rustle of leaves in the faint breeze, a sound like whispered secrets, and the distant, almost imperceptible chirping of cicadas, a lazy, rhythmic rhythm that spoke of the deepening morning. And her footsteps, clad in soft leather sandals, made barely a sound upon the smooth, worn flagstones of the path. A quiet, rhythmic padding that seemed to echo the gentle beat of her own heart, a slow, deliberate cadence that matched the tranquil pace of her stroll. And the garden itself was a haven of ancient textures. The rough, gnarled bark of an ancient olive tree, its silver-green leaves shimmering in the dappled sunlight, the cool, smooth surface of a marble bench, worn smooth by countless hands over centuries, and the delicate, velvety petals of the roses, their vibrant hues, a splash of color against the muted greens and browns of the foliage. Each texture, a gentle invitation to touch, to feel, to connect with the living world around her, and she moved with a quiet grace, her linen peplus flowing softly around her, its simple folds catching the subtle currents of air, creating a gentle, continuous whisper that accompanied her every step, a soft, ethereal presence, and her gaze, unfocused yet observant, drifted across the various plants, noting the delicate unfurling of a new rosebud, the gentle sway of a cypress branch, the intricate patterns of sunlight filtering through the leaves, each detail a quiet affirmation of life's subtle beauty and the slow, repetitive motion of walking. One foot after the other became a profound meditation, a gentle rhythm that allowed her thoughts to wander freely. Unburdened by the demands of the day, a quiet exploration of her inner landscape, where ideas and emotions drifted like clouds across a serene sky, unjudged and unhurried, and the air, now warmer, carried the sweet, earthy scent of the soil, a grounding aroma that mingled with the floral notes, creating a harmonious blend of fragrances that soothed the spirit and calmed the mind. And the light, dappled and shifting, played across the pathways, creating intricate patterns of light and shadow that danced with her every step, transforming the garden into a living canvas of subtle illumination, a place where time seemed to slow. Every moment was imbued with a quiet grace, a forgotten routine that allowed her to commune with nature, to find solace and serenity in the simple act of movement, a gentle breath of fresh air, a silent promise of inner peace, a quiet preparation for the gentle unfolding of her day, a profound sense of tranquility settling over her as she continued her unhurried stroll. Each step, a quiet affirmation of her presence in this ancient, beautiful world. Returning from the garden, her senses refreshed and her mind clear, the courtesan entered a small, sunlit study, a room dedicated to quiet contemplation and the pursuit of knowledge, where the air was now infused with the faint, comforting scent of aged parchment and the subtle, woody aroma of ancient cedar, a fragrance that spoke of countless hours spent in quiet study. And the sounds here were minimal, almost imperceptible. The soft rustle of a turning page, the gentle scratch of a stylus upon a wax tablet. Sounds that were themselves a form of quiet music, a rhythmic accompaniment to the silent work of the mind. And a low, comfortable couch, covered in soft, woven wool, invited her to recline. Its gentle give a comforting embrace as she settled in, and a small, intricately carved wooden lectern stood beside it, holding a rolled scroll of papyrus, its edges slightly frayed from countless readings, its surface covered in the elegant script of an ancient poet, and she reached for the scroll. her fingers tracing the delicate texture of the papyrus. Its dry, slightly brittle surface, a tangible link to the wisdom of the past. And as she unrolled it with slow, deliberate movements, the faint crackle of the aged material was the only sound, a gentle whisper that spoke of time and knowledge, and her gaze, soft yet focused, settled upon the elegant lines of verse, allowing the ancient words to wash over her, their rhythm and meaning seeping into her consciousness. A quiet dialogue with the minds of those who had come before. The act of reading was not a hurried pursuit of information, but a slow, immersive journey, each word savored, each phrase contemplated, allowing the beauty and wisdom of the text to unfold at its own gentle pace. Meditative engagement that deepened her understanding and enriched her spirit. And the light in the study, now bright and clear, streamed through a high arched window, illuminating the delicate fibers of the papyrus, highlighting the intricate brushstrokes of the scribe, making the ancient words seem to glow with an inner luminescence, a silent testament to their enduring power. And the textures of the room were varied and inviting. The smooth, cool wood of the lectern, the rough, dry feel of the papyrus, the soft, yielding wool of the couch, each a tactile anchor in this haven of quiet thought. And occasionally she would pause, her eyes drifting from the scroll to the sun-drenched courtyard outside, allowing her thoughts to coalesce, to drift, and reform like clouds in a summer sky, unburdened by urgency. And the only other sound was the distant, muffled hum of the city, a soft, indistinct murmur that served as a gentle reminder of the world beyond, yet did not intrude upon the profound stillness of her study, stillness that was both physical and mental. A quiet sanctuary where the mind could roam freely, unencumbered by the demands of daily life, forgotten routine that nourished the intellect and soothed the soul. Preparing her for the subtle complexities of her interactions, a gentle breath of ancient wisdom, a silent promise of inner richness, a quiet unfolding of her understanding, a profound sense of peace settling over her as she absorbed the timeless beauty of the written word. As the midday sun climbed higher, painting the inner courtyard with shifting patterns of light and shadow, the courtesan transitioned to a small, private workshop, a space dedicated to the quiet pursuit of her own artistic endeavors, where the air was now subtly infused with the faint, earthy scent of clay and the delicate aroma of beeswax, a gentle fragrance that spoke of creative work in progress. And the sounds within this sanctuary were soft and rhythmic, the gentle scrape of a pottery tool against, a faint, almost musical hum as she turned a small hand-powered wheel, and the occasional soft sigh of her breath as she focused on a delicate detail, each sound a tiny punctuation mark in the profound stillness, emphasizing the meticulous care of her actions. And a low, sturdy wooden workbench, surface worn smooth by countless hours of patient labor, held an array of tools, small, finely carved wooden spatulas, delicate metal wires, and brushes made from soft animal hair, each one a silent extension of her creative will. And she settled onto a low, backless stool, its simple form allowing for full freedom of movement. And before her sat a lump of freshly kneaded clay, cool and yielding to the touch. Its earthy scent a grounding presence, a raw material waiting to be transformed. And her hands, with an almost intuitive grace, began to work the clay, shaping it with slow, deliberate movements, her fingers coaxing it into a nascent form. It's a small, elegant amphora, perhaps, or a delicate oil lamp. each touch a gentle persuasion, a quiet dialogue between artist and material, and the repetitive motion of shaping the clay. The continuous turning of the wheel became a hypnotic rhythm, a gentle lullaby for the senses, drawing her deeper into a state of profound concentration, where the external world faded into a soft, indistinct hum, and only the sensation of touch and the unfolding of form remained. A private world of exquisite creation, and the light in the workshop, filtered through a high, narrow window, was soft and diffused, illuminating the subtle textures of the clay, highlighting the delicate curves and contours as they emerged from the shapeless mass, creating a tableau of quiet artistry, and the textures of the various tools were as varied as their purposes. The smooth, cool wood of the spatulas, the thin, precise edge of the metal wires, the soft, yielding bristles of the brushes. Each object a testament to the artistry and care invested in these daily rituals, and the air, now subtly perfumed with the earthy scent of damp clay, felt heavy and rich, a creative cloud that enveloped her, a protective veil against the harsher realities of the world. And the slow, measured pace of her movements, each one precise and unhurried, spoke of a deep respect for the creative process, a reverence for the act of bringing beauty into being, transforming a simple lump of earth into an object of quiet elegance, forgotten routine that turned a simple hobby into a profound moment of self-expression, quiet communion with her own artistic spirit, a gentle breath of creative inspiration, silent promise of beauty, a quiet unfolding of her craft, a profound sense of peace settling over her as she worked, each touch a quiet affirmation of her presence in this ancient, beautiful world. Shaping the clay with a quiet determination, lost in the timeless flow of creation. From the earthy embrace of the clay, the courtesan moved to another corner of her private workshop, a space dedicated to the rhythmic art of weaving, where the air was now subtly infused with the clean, natural scent of raw wool and the faint, sweet aroma of dried herbs, a gentle fragrance that spoke of patient craftsmanship and the slow unfurling of intricate patterns. And the sounds within this sanctuary were soft and rhythmic, the gentle click-clack of the loom shuttle passing through the warp threads, soft, continuous whir as the heddles lifted and lowered, and the occasional faint rustle of the wool as she drew a new length from a nearby basket, each sound a tiny, comforting punctuation mark in the profound stillness, emphasizing the meticulous care of her actions and a sturdy, upright wooden loom, its ancient frame worn smooth by countless hands over generations, stood before her, its taut warp threads stretched like a silent harp, waiting for the gentle dance of the weft, and she settled onto a low, backless bench, its simple form allowing for full freedom of movement, and her hands, with an almost intuitive grace, began the slow, deliberate process of weaving, her fingers guiding the shuttle through the intricate network of threads, each pass a gentle persuasion, a quiet dialogue between weaver and material, coaxing the raw wool into a nascent pattern, perhaps a delicate border for a tunic, or a small, intricately designed tapestry, each touch a gentle shaping, a quiet creation. In the repetitive motion of passing the shuttle, the continuous lifting and lowering of the heddles became a hypnotic rhythm, a gentle lullaby for the senses, drawing her deeper into a state of profound concentration, where the external world faded into a soft, indistinct hum, and only the sensation of touch and the unfolding of pattern remained. A private world of exquisite creation, and the light in the workshop, still soft and diffused, illuminated the subtle textures of the wool, highlighting the delicate interplay of colors as they emerged from the simple threads, creating a tableau of quiet artistry. And the textures of the various materials were as varied as their purposes. The smooth, cool wood of the loom, the rough yet soft feel of the raw wool, the delicate tension of the warp threads, each object a testament to the artistry and care invested in these daily rituals. And the air, now subtly perfumed with the clean scent of wool, felt heavy and rich, a creative cloud that enveloped her, a protective veil against the harsher realities of the world and the slow, measured pace of her movements. Each one, precise and unhurried, spoke of a deep respect for the creative process, a reverence for the act of bringing beauty into being, transforming simple fibers into an object of quiet elegance, a forgotten routine that turned a simple hobby into a profound moment of self-expression, a quiet communion with her own artistic spirit, a gentle breath of creative inspiration, a silent promise of beauty, a quiet unfolding of her craft, a profound sense of peace settling over her as she worked. Each pass of the shuttle, a quiet affirmation of her presence in this ancient, beautiful world, weaving the threads with a quiet determination, lost in the timeless flow of creation. The gentle hum of the loom, a constant, soothing companion in the quiet afternoon. As the afternoon light began its slow golden descent, casting long, warm shadows across the polished wooden floor, the courtesan turned her attention to the delicate art of calligraphy, a practice that demanded profound stillness and meticulous precision. As she moved to a low, intricately carved writing desk, its surface smooth and cool beneath her fingertips, its ancient wood exuding a faint, comforting aroma of beeswax and old parchment, a scent that spoke of countless hours spent in quiet contemplation and the careful formation of words, and the sounds within this sanctuary were now even more subdued, limited to the soft, almost imperceptible whisper of the reed pen against the smooth papyrus, a gentle scratch like a tiny insect moving across a dry leaf, and the occasional faint rustle of the parchment as she adjusted its position, each sound a tiny punctuation mark in the profound silence, emphasizing the delicate precision of her actions. And a small, finely crafted inkwell made of polished obsidian held a pool of rich, dark ink, its surface reflecting the soft, diffused light, with a deep liquid sheen, and beside it lay a selection of carefully sharpened reed pens, their tips fine and precise, waiting to translate thought into elegant form. She settled onto a low, cushioned stool. Its soft, give a gentle invitation to rest, and before her lay a fresh sheet of papyrus, its surface smooth and slightly fibrous, its pale, creamy color a pristine canvas awaiting the delicate dance of ink, and her hand, with an almost intuitive grace, dipped the reed pen into the inkwell, drawing it out with a measured amount of liquid. Then slowly, with a tender, deliberate touch, began to form the first stroke, a graceful curve, a precise line. Each movement a gentle persuasion, a quiet dialogue between hand and material, coaxing the ink into elegant letters. Perhaps a philosophical quote or a short contemplative poem, each stroke a gentle shaping, a quiet creation. And the repetitive motion of dipping the pen, forming the letters, and pausing to allow the ink to dry, became a hypnotic rhythm, a gentle lullaby for the senses, drawing her deeper into a state of profound concentration, where the external world faded into a soft, indistinct hum, and only the sensation of touch and the unfolding of form remained. A private world of exquisite creation, and the light in the study, now a soft golden hue, streamed through a high arched window, illuminating the delicate fibers of the papyrus, highlighting the intricate brushstrokes of the ink, making the ancient words seem to glow with an inner luminescence, a silent testament to their enduring power. And the textures of the various tools were as varied as their purposes. The smooth, cool obsidian of the inkwell, the rough, yet delicate feel of the papyrus, the firm yet yielding tip of the reed pen. Each object a testament to the artistry and care invested in these daily rituals. And the air, now subtly perfumed with the faint scent of ink and parchment, felt heavy and rich, a creative cloud that enveloped her, a protective veil against the harsher realities of the world and the slow, measured pace of her movements, each one precise and unhurried, spoke of a deep respect for the creative process, a reverence for the act of bringing beauty into being, transforming simple thoughts into an object of quiet elegance, a forgotten routine that turned a simple hobby into a profound moment of self-expression, a quiet communion with her own artistic spirit, a gentle breath of creative inspiration, silent promise of beauty, a quiet unfolding of her craft, a profound sense of peace settling over her as she worked, each stroke of the pen a quiet affirmation of her presence in this ancient, beautiful world, writing the words with a quiet determination, lost in the timeless flow of creation, the silence of the room a constant, soothing companion in the quiet afternoon. As the golden light of late afternoon softened, painting the chamber in hues of amber and rose, the courtesan concluded her calligraphy, her spirit imbued with the quiet satisfaction of creative expression. And with a gentle sigh, she turned her attention to the ancient lyre resting on a low velvet-draped stand in a sunlit alcove, its polished wood gleaming with a deep resonant warmth, a silent invitation to a different kind of artistry. And the sounds within this space were now subtly different, a prelude to a delicate symphony. The soft rustle of her linen peplus as she adjusted her posture, the faint, almost imperceptible hum of the strings as her fingers brushed lightly against them, a whisper of sound that promised the unfolding of melody, and she settled onto a low, cushioned stool, its soft give a gentle embrace as she positioned the lyre against her shoulder, its smooth, cool wood a comforting presence against her skin, and her fingers, long and slender, began to pluck the strings one by one with a slow, deliberate touch each, to note a pure, resonant tone that filled the air, a gentle vibration that seemed to ripple through the very fabric of the room, creating a tapestry of sound that was both ethereal and deeply grounding. And the melodies she chose were ancient lullabies passed down through generations. Simple yet profound, their harmonies weaving together like threads of moonlight on a tranquil lake, each chord a gentle sigh, each arpeggio a soft whisper, da, a quiet narrative unfolding in the air, and the repetitive motion of plucking the strings. The continuous flow of the melody became a hypnotic rhythm, gentle lullaby for the senses, drawing her deeper into a state of profound concentration, where the external world faded into a soft, indistinct hum, and only the sensation of sound and the unfolding of harmony remained. A private world of exquisite sensation, and the light in the alcove, now a soft, diffused glow, illuminated the delicate strings of the lyre, highlighting the intricate patterns of the wood grain, making the ancient instrument seem to glow with an inner luminescence, a silent testament to its enduring power. And the textures of the lyre were varied and inviting. The smooth, cool wood of its frame, the taut, vibrating strings beneath her fingertips, the soft, yielding velvet of the stand. Each objected testament to the artistry and care invested in these daily rituals, and the air now subtly infused with the pure, resonant vibrations of the music felt light, an ethereal, a melodic cloud that enveloped her, a protective veil against the harsher realities of the world and the slow, measured pace of her playing. Each note, precise and unhurried, spoke of a deep respect for the creative process, a reverence for the act of bringing beauty into being, transforming simple vibrations into an object of quiet elegance, a forgotten routine that turned a simple hobby into a profound moment of self-expression, a quiet communion with her own artistic spirit, a gentle breath of creative inspiration, a silent promise of beauty, a quiet unfolding of her craft, a profound sense of peace settling over her as she played. Each note a quiet affirmation of her presence in this ancient, beautiful world, weaving the melodies with a quiet determination. Lost in the timeless flow of sound, the gentle hum of the lyre, a constant, soothing companion in the quiet afternoon, a prelude to the deepening shadows of dusk. As the last golden rays of the sun began to stretch and fade, retreating slowly from the highest points of the city's ancient buildings, a profound stillness descended upon the courtesan's home, marking the gentle transition from the active pursuits of the day to the quiet anticipation of the evening. And the air, now cooler and heavier, carried the faint, earthy scent of damp stone from the courtyard walls, mingled with the subtle, sweet perfume of night-blooming jasmine that was just beginning to unfurl its delicate blossoms, a fragrance that spoke of quiet mysteries and the deepening shadows. And the sounds outside began to soften, the distant clamor of the forum fading into a low, continuous hum, replaced by the gentle rustle of leaves in the evening breeze, a sound like whispered secrets, and the first hesitant chirps of crickets emerging from their daytime slumber, a rhythmic, almost hypnotic chorus that slowly began to fill the twilight air. And within her chambers, the light grew dim, transforming the familiar contours of the room into soft, indistinct shapes, creating an atmosphere of quiet intimacy where the only illumination came from the faint, lingering glow of the western sky, the soft, ethereal light that painted the walls in shades of lavender and gray, and her movements now became even more measured, more deliberate. As she moved through the deepening shadows, her footsteps barely audible upon the cool mosaic floor. A silent dance with the encroaching night, and she reached for the small, intricately carved oil lamps that rested on various surfaces throughout the room, their wicks still dark, waiting for the touch of flame, their polished bronze surfaces reflecting the last vestiges of light with a dull, metallic gleam. And the textures of the room seemed to deepen in the fading light. The cool, smooth marble, the rough, ancient stone of the walls, the soft, yielding velvet of the cushions, each a tactile anchor in the gathering gloom, a gentle reminder of her physical surroundings, and the air, now thick with the scent of jasmine, felt like a soft, enveloping cloak. A comforting presence that prepared her for the quiet introspection that often accompanied the descent of dusk. It's a time for reflection. For the gentle unwinding of the day's experiences and the slow, repetitive motion of preparing the lamps, ensuring their wicks were trimmed and their reservoirs filled with fresh olive oil, became a meditative act. Each movement a quiet preparation for the illumination that would soon transform the shadows into pools of warm, inviting light. A silent promise of comfort and security in the deepening night, a forgotten routine that marked the passage of time with a quiet grace, a gentle breath of evening air, a silent promise of tranquility, a quiet unfolding of the night's embrace. A profound sense of peace settling over her as the last light faded, leaving the room in a state of soft, welcoming twilight, ready for the gentle glow of the lamps. As the last vestiges of twilight faded into the deep indigo of night, the courtesan began the quiet ritual of lighting the oil lamps. A deliberate act that transformed the deepening shadows of her chambers into pools of warm, inviting light. And the air, now infused with the subtle, earthy scent of burning olive oil and the lingering sweetness of jasmine, created an atmosphere of profound intimacy and serene comfort, a fragrance that spoke of quiet evenings and gentle conversations. And the sounds within the room were now limited to the soft, rhythmic click of the flint and steel as she struck a spark. A tiny, fleeting sound that was immediately followed by the gentle hiss of the wick catching fire, and then the soft, steady glow of the flame as it settled into a quiet, unwavering luminescence, each sound a tiny punctuation mark in the profound stillness, emphasizing the delicate precision of her actions, and she moved with a quiet grace from lamp to lamp, her hands steady and unhurried, each flame a small living beacon that pushed back the encroaching darkness, creating islands of warmth and light within the vastness of the room, and the light from the lamps, soft and flickering, cast long, dancing shadows upon the walls, transforming the familiar contours of the room into a dreamlike landscape, where every object seemed imbued with a new, ethereal quality. Silent ballet of light and shadow that played across the ancient surfaces, and the textures of the lamps were varied and inviting. The cool, smooth bronze of their bases, the delicate glass of their chimneys, the rough, yet absorbent texture of the wicks, each object a testament to the artistry and care invested in these daily rituals. And the air, now thick with the subtle scent of warm oil and the gentle glow of the flames, felt heavy and rich, a luminous cloud that enveloped her, a protective veil against the harsher realities of the world and the slow, measured pace of her movements. Each one, precise and unhurried, spoke of a deep respect for the transformative power of light, a reverence for the act of bringing warmth and comfort into being, transforming the darkness into an object of quiet elegance, a forgotten routine that turned a simple act of illumination into a profound moment of serene contemplation, a quiet communion with the subtle beauty of the night, a gentle breath of luminous air, a silent promise of comfort, a quiet unfolding of the evening's embrace, profound sense of peace settling over her as the last lamp was lit, filling the room with a soft golden glow, ready for the gentle passage of the evening hours. Each flickering flame a quiet affirmation of her presence in this ancient, beautiful world, casting a warm, inviting glow upon the quietude of her home. With the chambers bathed in the soft, warm glow of the oil lamps, a new phase of the courtesaness. Forgotten routine began a gentle unfurling of the evening, where the boundaries between her private world and the public demands of her profession began to subtly blur, yet still maintained. A delicate balance, and the air now warm and still was rich with the layered scents of her personal perfumes, mingled with the faint sweet aroma of roasted nuts and spiced wine that began to drift in from the nearby kitchens. A tantalizing fragrance that spoke of impending gatherings and convivial company, and the sounds from outside her immediate sanctuary began to grow. A soft, distant murmur of voices, the gentle clatter of serving dishes, the occasional faint, melodic strains of a lyre or flute from another part of the house, each sound a gentle invitation to the social rituals of the evening, yet still muted. Still respectful of the quietude of her private space, and she moved with a quiet grace towards a large, intricately carved wooden chest. Its surface polished to a deep luster, its ancient wood exuding a faint, comforting aroma of cedar and dried herbs, and as she lifted, the heavy lid, the soft creak of the hinges was the only sound revealing a treasure trove of silken tunics, embroidered stolas, and delicate jewelry, each piece a whisper of luxury waiting to be chosen in her. Fingers long and slender moved with an almost intuitive knowledge, selecting a stola of deep, rich crimson silk, its fabric cool and smooth against her fingertips, its color vibrant even in the soft lamplight. A garment chosen for its elegance and its ability to capture the subtle play of light. And as she drew it from the chest, the fabric unfolded with a soft sighing rustle, a gentle cascade of material that seemed to float in the air, catching the lamplight and shimmering with a deep inner luminescence. And the process of dressing for the evening was not a hurried affair, but a deliberate, almost ceremonial sequence of movements, each fold and drape of the fabric a conscious interaction with the material. As she slipped the stola over her head, the cool silk falling softly against her skin, a luxurious embrace that settled around her form with a graceful fluidity, and the broad, elegant folds of the garment seemed to absorb the lamplight, creating subtle variations in tone and shadow, emphasizing the natural contours of her body with a quiet allure, a sophisticated elegance that spoke of refined taste, and the textures of the silk, exquisitely smooth and yielding, felt like a second skin, a connection to the world of luxury and beauty, a reminder of the exquisite artistry of the weavers. And she then reached for a selection of delicate gold bracelets, their surfaces gleaming softly in the lamplight, and with slow, precise movements, as she adorned her wrists, the faint metallic clink of the gold, a quiet punctuation in the stillness. Each piece a subtle enhancement, adding a touch of understated opulence to her ensemble. And the light, now fully present from the multiple lamps, seemed to cling to the silk, enhancing its natural luminosity, making her appear as though she were dressed in liquid light. A radiant presence within the ancient room, and the only other sound was the gentle rustle of the fabric as she moved, a soft, continuous whisper that accompanied her every step, a constant, soothing presence, a gentle preparation for the subtle dance of her evening, a forgotten routine that transformed the simple act of dressing into a moment of serene self-possession. A quiet acknowledgement of the evening's unfolding, a gentle breath of anticipation for the hours ahead, a silent promise of grace and allure. a profound sense of quiet confidence settling over her as she completed her preparations. Ready to step into the gentle embrace of the Roman night? With her evening attire flowing in rich crimson silk and her jewelry gleaming softly in the lamplight, the courtesan paused, not with impatience, but with a profound sense of quiet anticipation. A moment suspended between the meticulous preparations of her private world and the gentle demands of the public sphere that awaited her. And the air in her chambers, now warm and still, was a rich tapestry of scents, the lingering notes of her personal perfumes, the subtle sweetness of the night-blooming jasmine from the courtyard, and the tantalizing, growing aromas of roasted meats and spiced wines drifting more distinctly from the main reception rooms, a fragrant invitation to the convivial gatherings that were now fully underway. And the sounds from beyond her immediate sanctuary were no longer distant murmurs, but a soft, continuous symphony of Roman evening life. The gentle murmur of many voices, a harmonious blend of laughter and conversation, the rhythmic strumming of a lyre, the clear, sweet notes of a flute, and the occasional soft clink of a wine cup against a mosaic table. Each sound a gentle, rhythmic pulse that indicated the vibrant life unfolding just beyond her doors, yet still maintaining a respectful distance, a soft invitation rather than an insistent demand. And she moved to a tall, arched doorway, its heavy velvet curtain drawn back to reveal a glimpse of the illuminated corridor beyond, where the light was brighter, more direct, a stark contrast to the soft, intimate glow of her private rooms, and her gaze, though directed outwards, remained soft, unfocused, allowing the sounds and scents to wash over her, a gentle immersion in the atmosphere of the evening, and her posture was one of serene repose. Her hands clasped loosely before her, her shoulders relaxed, embodying a quiet dignity that transcended the expectations of her profession, a profound sense of inner calm that radiated outwards, a silent invitation to approach, to engage, yet without urgency or demand. And the textures of the threshold were varied and inviting. The cool, smooth marble of the doorway, the soft, heavy velvet of the curtain, its deep folds absorbing the light, and the distant gleam of polished bronze in the corridor, each a tactile anchor in this moment of quiet transition in the air. Now rich with the full symphony of evening scents and sounds, felt like a soft, enveloping current, a gentle tide that would soon carry her into the heart of the gathering. Yet for this moment, she remained poised on the precipice, savoring the quietude of anticipation, allowing the world to come to her rather than rushing to meet it. And the slow, steady rhythm of her own breathing was the most profound sound of all, a constant, comforting presence that grounded her in the present moment, a gentle reminder of her own inner strength and serenity. A forgotten routine that transformed a simple waiting period into a profound moment of self-possession, a quiet communion with the subtle beauty of the evening, a gentle breath of calm, a silent promise of grace, a quiet unfolding of the night's embrace, a profound sense of peace settling over her as she stood, bathed in the soft lamplight, ready to step into the vibrant tapestry of the Roman night. Each breath a quiet affirmation of her presence in this ancient, beautiful world, awaiting the gentle call that would draw her forth. A serene and timeless figure, embodying the forgotten grace of a Roman courtesan. Her routine, a quiet symphony of self-care and profound presence.